Okay, good evening, everyone. It's nice to see so many smiling faces. This is the Owen J. Roberts Board of School Directors regular business meeting being held on Monday, October 23, 2023 at 6 p.m. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. Thank you. The Board of School Directors met on the following dates in executive session to discuss items in one or more of the following areas: legal, personnel, or real estate matters on October 9, 2023 and October 23, 2023. Superintendent's report, Dr. Stapp.
Thank you, Mrs. Peterson. We're going to start tonight with Josh Zhang and your student council executive report.
Thank you. So to start off with our elementary schools, it's exciting to share that our beginning of the year assessments have been successfully completed and all instructional groupings are now full in swing. Our dedicated teachers are fully engaged in providing students with a rich and supportive learning experience. And as a friendly reminder to parent volunteers, please take a moment to update your volunteer clearances to ensure the safety and security of our students. Sometimes getting clearances takes time to complete, so don't miss out on any opportunities to work with the school, chaperone field trips, or help out with PTA-related functions. We also look forward to celebrating our upcoming REA Halloween festivities with your children and the entire school community. This year's safe trick-or-treat night will be held at the high school on Thursday, October 26th. It's a promise to be a spooktacular event. Lastly, our elementary schools want to express their heartfelt gratitude to all parents and guardians for their unwavering support for our schools. Your partnership is absolutely vital to the overall success of our educational mission, and thank you for being a valued part of our school community. Now moving on to the middle school. Students there participated in Spirit Week during homecoming, and 7th and 8th grade students competed against each other via their participation. At the end of the week, there were 2 grade-specific pep rallies where students and teachers participated in various games and earned points for their respective grades. In the end, 8th grade eked out a narrow victory. Later, on Friday evening, several middle school families enjoyed our PTA-sponsored tailgate before the homecoming football game. The middle school is wrapping up their annual fundraiser this week. Participating students have been earning small rewards along the way, with those participating at the highest level earning their way onto a trip to the Lincoln Financial Field for a behind-the-scenes tour in early December. The middle school is also collecting canned goods and non-perishable items as part of our Make a Difference Day efforts. And to incentivize students, every item they bring earns them a vote towards the teacher they'd like to see get pied in the face. On October 20th, 15 of our middle school students were recognized as our October Wildcat Award winners. The students were selected by their respective teachers for displaying all of the following characteristics we hope to see in our students, and they, alongside their families, were treated to a breakfast and short ceremony in their honor. Finally, for the high school has been a busy month. In our music department on October 5th, the chamber choir traveled to the Mount Hope Estate in Manheim to participate in the madrigal competition at the Pennsylvania Renaissance Fair. That weekend, the band hosted our 52nd annual Cavalcade of the Bands, with a total of 15 bands participating and presenting their field show. The finale of the field involving over 1,000 student musicians all playing together. Great performances all around. In athletics, both the girls soccer and girls cross country team recently secured the title of PAC championships after great showings all season. We had numerous students compete in the first round of the PIAA District 1 Individual Golf Championships, and there were also several individual achievements earned by members of the girls volleyball team in recent matches. Congratulations to all our athletes on these accomplishments. Homecoming week was also a time of celebration in our building. Students participated in Spirit Days throughout the week, enjoyed a great pep rally on the Friday afternoon where senior Riley Herring was crowned leader of the pack and showed great school spirit, cheering on our football team, who clinched a 40-14 win that night. On Saturday night, student government hosted the homecoming dance, which featured a great DJ, fun games, and lots of snacks. Thanks to all who donated items and to all staff who helped pull off these great events. We also welcomed 2 guest speakers into our building this month. Author Cristina Diaz Gonzalez met virtually with the students in our English language learning class to speak about her experience as an English learner in American schools and her path becoming a Latina author. And the mock trials team welcomed Chester County Attorney Zach Urich, alumni of the class of 2008, to share his experiences and expertise with the team as they begin to prepare for their season ahead. Finally, the library celebrated its grand opening this month to showcase this beautiful new space to our district residents. Thank you.
Thank you, Joshua. Next, we are recognizing the National Merit Scholarship semifinalists and students who received letters of commendation. So, Mr. Kohler.
Thank you. So as Dr. Stout said, this evening we are recognizing 13 students here at the high school. This is always a really wonderful opportunity. So we would like to celebrate the outstanding achievements of our National Merit Scholarship semifinalists and commended student recognition recipients. The National Merit Scholarship Program is a national academic competition for high school students to provide financial aid to attend college. It is administered by the National Merit Scholarship Corporation. Students qualify for the National Merit Program by achieving a high score on the PSAT in their junior year. Commended students are named based on a nationally applied selection index score that may vary from year to year, though it typically represents the top 2 to 4% of PSAT test takers in a state. These students become candidates for special scholarships sponsored by corporations and businesses. This year, we have 10 commended students. I would like to invite each student or a family representative forward after their name is called to receive a certificate on behalf of Dr. Stout and the school board. Our first recipient is Hamza Bandi. Our second recipient is Aiden Bonner. Our next recipient is Grace Dales. Our next recipient is Veer Kakar. Our next recipient is Vedika Nair. Our next recipient is Aman Pathakamuri. Our next recipient is Olivia Savachka. Our next recipient is Brian Surfass. Our next recipient is Psychosil Tiramalasetti. And our last recipient of the commended students is Eric Zarkowski. All right. So moving on to our semifinalists. Semifinalists are the highest scoring entrants in each state. Qualifying scores, again, vary from state to state and from year to year, though they typically represent the top 1 to 2% of test takers across the state. These students receive scholarship application materials through the National Merit Scholarship. To be considered for a National Merit Scholarship, semifinalists must advance to the finalist standing in the competition by meeting high academic standards and all other requirements explained in the information provided to each semifinalist. This year, we have 3 semifinalists representing the district. I would like to invite each student or a family representative forward after their name is called to receive a certificate on behalf of Dr. Stout and the school board. And our first semifinalist is Owen Butler. Our second semifinalist is Samantha Curry. And our third semifinalist is Julia Robinson. I want to thank the board for giving us the opportunity to recognize these students this evening. Michael Rodriguez has conducted interviews and developed biographies of each of the students recognized and has shared them on the district website as well as via social media. The semifinalists were featured a couple of weeks ago, and the commended students will be recognized beginning tomorrow. They're a wonderful group of representatives for both the high school and for the district, and we know that they have a lot to look forward to as they continue their education in the years ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kohler, and congratulations to our students. Once I get through the superintendent report, which will not take too long this evening, then we will be taking a short break so that the board and I can interact with our students that are here tonight and recognize your accomplishments. So thank you. Congratulations to Ingrid Fake and Gretchen McInnes and the middle school arts program, who for the second year in a row received the Pennsylvania Art Education Association Outstanding Visual Arts Community Award. October is also National School Principals Month, and we want to extend our gratitude to all of our principals and assistant principals at our 7 schools. Every week I visit each of our schools, and I've seen firsthand the amazing leadership that we enjoy in our school community. We recognize them earlier today on all of our social media channels and the website. Reminder that November 7th is a professional development day, so there is no school for students. The middle school is a designated poll location on election day. Our annual Veterans Day celebration will be held on Friday, November 10th at the high school, and other celebrations are being held throughout the district. Further details can be found on the district website. And the next town hall meeting, or the first town hall meeting that we have this year, is scheduled for Thursday, November 16th at 6 p.m. at the District Service Center, which is the old East Coventry Elementary School. Please RSVP on our social media pages, website, and emails that will be sent from Skyward. So, Mrs. Peterson, that concludes my report.
Great, thank you very much. Let's take a brief break. Thank you. Congratulations again to our students. Agenda item 5, public comment on agenda items. There are 2 opportunities for public comment. The first section is for information, proposals, and statements from individuals or delegations pertaining to items on the agenda that will be voted on tonight. Speakers are to indicate your name, township of residence, and the items on the agenda to which your comments are addressed. Speakers will be limited to not more than 3 minutes. Please understand that this is not a time for dialogue with the board. Rather, the board will listen to all comments and consider them in future deliberations. The second session will be at the end of the meeting and is for residents to speak on any item. Also, if you have any question for the school board, please email all Board of School Directors at schoolboardmembers@ojrsd.net and you will receive a written response. For anyone who would like to make a comment online, please use the raise hand function. When it is your turn to speak, please state your name and township of residence. Okay, we're moving on to board committee reports. A working session was held on October 9, 2023 at 6 p.m. The following committees met at this time: Curriculum, Finance, Buildings and Grounds, Legislative and Policy. Chester County 6.2 Chester County Intermediate Unit. Mrs. Munson is our representative, but she is not here this evening and she did not submit a report to be read in. 6.3 Curriculum and Special Education Committee, Mrs. Sabo.
The curriculum committee met during the working session on October 9th. There was 1 item on the agenda. Dr. Soder, Mr. Kohler, Mr. Soltis, and Dr. Smith presented information about the results of the spring 2023 assessments. This included AP IB Keystone data for the high school, the middle school. The results of the Keystone PSSAs and Linkit were reviewed, and the elementary data included the PSSA results and the Linkit scores. The public site from PDE and PA Future Ready site will be refreshed and updated in a timely manner. After that time, school summaries will be available on the district website. Parents with questions about specific data about their children should contact their child's teacher or principal or refer to the district website on the student report that was mailed home. The next curriculum committee meeting will meet on November 13th at 6 p.m. during the working session. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Sabo. 6.4, Finance, Buildings and Grounds Committee, Mr. Harmonos.
The Finance, Building and Grounds Committee met at the October 9th working session, and we presented the budget timeline and the Act One index for the upcoming year. And then we have two items on the agenda tonight. Item 13.7 is an agreement of sale for the Kutz property. That's an 11.4 acre property that is adjacent to two other properties that we currently own that total 38 acres. So this would make a nice addition to that campus for future expansion. And then item 13.8, we have a proposal from K&W Engineering for a due diligence study for that purchase of that property for $19,560. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harmonos. 6.5, Legislative and Policy Committee, Dr. Malmezak.
Yeah, the Legislative and Policy Committee also met at the October 9th working session. There is one agenda item listed for LMP tonight. Item 7.8, acknowledge receipt of 3 policies and 1 schedule for first reading. The 3 policies include Policy 800, Records Management, Policies 830, Data Governance / Storage Security, and Policy 830.1, Security of Computerized Personal Information / Breach Notification. The next Legislative and Policy Committee meeting is also scheduled to meet at the November 13th working session. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Malmezak. 6.6, Personnel Committee, Dr. Ratoli.
The Personnel Committee did not meet.
Thank you. Agenda item 7, recommend routine matters. May I have a motion to approve recommended routine matters 7.2 through 7.10 as consent items?
So moved.
Mr. Harmonos,
Second.
Mrs. Sabo, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Agenda item 8, recommended routine matters. May I have a motion to acknowledge the following donations, contributions, and gifts? To the high school, Pottstown Area Health and Wellness Foundation at the high school, the Pottstown Area Health and Wellness Foundation donated $400 in a Wellness Achievement Award for improving school wellness through nutrition, physical activity, and/or stress management for students and staff. And the MPO, the Music Parents Organization, donated $2,299.66 towards the cost of the music field trip to Hershey Park last spring. At the middle school, the Ed Foundation contributed $67.92 for materials for Think, and $364.01 for Maze Run Ball Maze Set. At North Coventry Elementary School, Christina Mama donated an upright piano with an approximate value of $1,500 to the music program, and Wellness Champ donated $250. At Eastminster Elementary School, the Eastminster PTA donated $350 for the first grade field trip to Weaver's Orchard on September 29th, $700 for the kindergarten field trip to Oslonsky Farms on October 20th, and $700 for 5th graders to attend the Montgomery County Community College Challenger Learning Center on October 24th. At Westminster Elementary School, the Sons of the American Legion Post number 62 donated $1,000 for the school library. May I have a motion to acknowledge the receipt of those donations?
So moved.
Dr. Malmezak?
Second.
Dr. Ratoli, any discussion? Once again, thank you for all the organizations that support our schools. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. Agenda item 9, the approval of routine matters. May I have a motion to approve routine matters consent items 9.2 through 9.3?
So moved.
Mrs. Sabo, a second? Second. Mrs. DiMarino, any discussion?
I did have a question about that. I wonder if Mr. Carmine could answer. On 9.2, the approval of the different bills, I just noticed that this was the expenditures were basically August, and there was very large expenditure to gross bus service. Is that normal to be, for that timing of that bill to come in? Seemed odd to me because it's in the summer.
That's a good point. They actually billed us rather late this year, so it was actually for services performed in the last school year, but we did accrue those expenditures. This is cash, but we accrued those expenditures back to the last year's financial statements.
Okay, so normally, what, would it be more periodic that we would be?
Well, normally they're billing us monthly.
Okay,
For some reason, I mean, we actually were calling them for the bills this year. So,
okay,
so it's just late billing. It's timing on the billing.
all right, thank you.
Welcome.
Any additional discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Agenda item 10, board discussion. Is there any board discussion at this time? Okay, moving on to agenda item old business. Mrs. Carmine, do we have any old business?
We do not, Madam President. Thank you.
Thank you. New business, approval of personnel matters consent items. May I have, okay, sorry. I'd like a motion to approve personnel matters 12.2 through 12.4 with a correction on Melissa Sabo's effective day should be shown as August 28, 2023, and not September 28, 2023. Understood? Okay.
Yes.
So may I have that motion?
I'll motion.
Mr. Doherty, a second.
Second.
Mr. Harmonos, any discussion?
I have a question about this one as well.
Yeah.
On 12.4, the, extracurricular items there.
Mhm.
I see the girls wrestling head coach as 11 units. And I was just a misunderstanding, I guess. We remember when we talked about wrestling, it wasn't necessary for us to hire a new coach. And so it was kind of a very inexpensive thing. And so I was just curious about, what's the situation with this coaching, and is 11 units a normal varsity sport amount? Because that just is a lot compared to the other things on the list there.
Yeah. Yes, it is. And that's, we have to have the equivalent of what we have for boys wrestling. So we have a head coach for boys wrestling. We need a head coach for girls wrestling. So, and those are the units for the position in the collective bargaining agreement. So that's what we pay the wrestling coach.
Okay, so you would say that's typical then of any varsity sport would be 11 units, or?
No, it's dependent on the sport and the season and the length of the season. So it's within the collective bargaining agreement where the units are assigned.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Any additional discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. Agenda item 13.1, the approval of out-of-state overnight student trips. May I have a motion for the approval of the out-of-state overnight student trips as presented?
So move.
Mrs. DiMarino, second. Mr. Chester, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. 13.2, the approval of conference attendance. May I have a motion for the approval of conference attendance as presented?
So moved.
Mrs. Sabo, second.
Second.
Mrs. DiMarino, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. 13.3, approval of waiver agreement. May I have a motion for the approval of a waiver agreement as presented?
So moved.
Mr. Harmonos, a second.
Second.
Mr. Doherty, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. 13.4, the approval to establish a student activity. May I have a motion for the approval to establish a student activity club in accordance with provisions of section 511 of the Pennsylvania School Code and School Board Regulation 122A and/or 122B as presented. This approval also provides for the establishment of counts within the student activity accounting system when applicable. The clubs being proposed are for high school student activity club, with no accounts needed, fly tying, pickleball club, science fair club, soccer game club, and for those that need a student activity club accounting, caring for cancer, and cooking and baking club. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Mrs. DiMarino,
Second.
Mr. Harmonos, any discussion? Fly tying is fishing
Fish
lures.
fly.
Fishing,
fly
yeah.
fishing.
Yes, that one I know. I probably know more about that than cooking and baking club. I'll be honest. So,
You're more of a pickle person.
any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. 13.5, the approval of student activity club advisors and student officers. May I have a motion for the approval of student activity club advisors and student officers in accordance with the provisions of section 511 of the Pennsylvania School Code for the 2023-2024 school year as presented?
So moved.
Mrs. Sabo, a second.
Second.
Dr. Ratoli, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. 13.6, the approval of a memorandum of understanding between the Roberts Education Association and the Owen J. Roberts School District. May I have a motion for the approval of a memorandum of understanding between the Roberts Education Association and the Owen J. Roberts School District?
So moved.
So, second.
Dr. Melnazak, Mr. Harmonos, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. 13.7, the approval of agreement for the sale of real estate and land condemnation resolution. May I have a motion for the approval of an agreement for the sale of real estate between the estate of Samuel A. Cutts and the Owen J. Roberts School District for $725,000 and land condemnation resolution as presented?
So moved.
Mr. Harmonos? Mr. Chester, any discussion?
Maybe we just want to give a little quick summary of
Sure.
our rationale behind this.
Yep.
It's a good deal, but
Sure, no problem. The Kutz property is contiguous, adjacent to property that we already own across the street. And we're in the process of our master's facility planning, and it's across the street from the main campus on Cadmus Road. And it's right next to property that we already exist, and it'll actually, when we do eventually develop that area, it will allow us to bring everything closer to the main campus across the street, unless there's anything else anybody wants to add.
No, I think that's, there is limited supply of land, around the campus for, meeting the needs of our students and our community moving forward.
Growing.
And if this, piece of land were to, not, be purchased by us, it would make, expanding onto the Cadmus, Avenue side of, our land exponentially more difficult. And so this gives us a lot more options and, availability to bring services across the street to Cadmus, across Cadmus. Any additional discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. 13.8, the approval ratification of professional services maintenance agreements. May I have a motion for the approval ratification of professional services maintenance agreements as presented?
so move.
Dr. Melnazak,
Second.
Mr. Harmonos, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Agenda item 14, public comment. Information, proposals, and statements from individuals or delegations pertaining to any item. Speakers are to indicate your name and township of residence. Speakers will be limited to not more than 3 minutes. Please understand that this is not a time for dialogue with the board. Rather, the board will listen to all comments and consider them in future deliberations. Also, if you have a question for the school board, please email all Board of School Directors at schoolboardmembers@ojrsd.net and you will receive a written response. For anyone online who would like to make a comment, please use the raise hand function. When it is your turn to speak, please state your name and township of residence.
Good evening, Colleen Blute, North Coventry Township, East Coventry Township. I'm here tonight to talk about homecoming. Unfortunately, I had to leave the game suddenly due to an accident, but I'm here to talk about the Cat Pack. The Cat Pack sat and blocked the ramp and the stairwell that went up to the bleachers. They should be on the farthest south section of the stadium home side, as to not block those parents coming in with young children, babies in strollers, people on walkers and on crutches. I also came as an alumni, again, had to leave early because of an accident. I didn't get to hear the alma mater, didn't get to hear the Star Spangled Banner because of the lack of respect by a group of students sitting very close to the concession stand, screaming and yelling and hollering over the band playing, and I think there was a group of people singing. I also came hoping to see homecoming. There wasn't anything, at least that I could see or hear. I know Owen J. Roberts is deeply into tradition and all that stuff, but it was lacking. The disrespect that was shown by the students in that group was not handled by anyone, not the police, the security guards, the athletic director, the assistant athletic director, or the person in charge of that group. To me, it was very offensive and didn't make me feel very good about the school district. I had the opportunity then to attend a homecoming at another school district, in fact, 2 school districts, and organization, unbelievable. Cars in, kids in, people happy, alumni meeting, alumni having alumni meetings and talking to graduates and telling them, hey, you need help getting into this college, I can help you get in, blah, 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 blah. It was wonderful. It was not so here. I think you need to take a look at it.
Hi, Seth Lucas, resident of East Coventry, teacher at West Vincent, president of the Roberts Education Association, and a proud parent of a future North Coventry kindergartner. I'd like to officially invite everyone in the district to the annual REA Safe Trick or Treat Night this Thursday, as Josh said earlier, 5 p.m. to 8 at the high school. Donations for non-perishable items for the North Coventry Food Pantry will be accepted at the door. Our schools, our students, clubs, and community organizations have a fun evening planned, and we are looking forward to seeing families at this great event. We're really happy that it's not a World Series night either, so go Phils.
Hi, Heather McCreary, East Coventry. I just want to piggyback on what the other speaker said really quick. Okay, so I came here for the library open house and the LGI. That was fantastic. Brought my sister and my friend who I graduated with, who has not been back in the school, I don't think, since we graduated in 1983. Great showing in these 2 buildings. We went down to the football game, and I was a little bit disappointed myself. I could not hear the alma mater because the Cat Pack did start cheering. I don't fault those children for doing that, the students. I don't mean to call you guys children. I don't fault them for doing it, but where were the leaders that should have been watching them, right? Like, we pay people to be game workers, right? I didn't see any game workers down there at all. And you could not even hear the alma mater. Everybody was confused, right? And then also there was 0 for homecoming at that stadium. Come on, you guys. Like, we do REA Trick or Treat Night is literally my most favorite night here at the school district that's been happening. But homecoming, King and Queen Court stopped. It became leader of the pack. But this year there was nothing, right? And real quick, there's $36,000 in the student government account. So there was a big deal going to split the proms this year. Where is that money going to go to? I'm not saying that money should go to those 2 proms, because there's probably money from my children in here and from other people that have gone through this district. That's a lot of money to have in an account, $36,000, and not being able to figure out how to use it. And lastly, another random comment, the attachment to the activities that you Mrs. DiMarino talked about and your talking was not actually attached on the public. So I don't think the public could see that because the actual breakout of those expenses were not on there.
Agenda item 15, board discussion follow-up and request for information. Does the board have any discussion follow-up or requests at this time?
Great, not a request, just a quick commendation. The Association of School Business Officials recognized our district for the transparency in the budget presentations, Jackie and her staff, and I think it's a real reflection of the transparency of the budget process here, the presentations, the way data is very quickly forthcoming whenever requests are made. So it's a well-deserved recognition. I hope you'll pass that on to your staff.
Fine. So with that, we are adjourned. Thank you.